Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Into the Chicane Quick Pit. I'm Channing Apodaca, and if you're an F1 fan, you've probably already heard. Nyck DeVries has been sacked at Alpha Tauri. The Dutch driver's contract has been terminated immediately after, to put it nicely, a lackluster performance in the first 10 races of the season, being one of only 2 drivers with 0 points. In his final outing with the team, DeVries qualified 18th and finished dead last at the British Grand Prix, just 2 seconds behind teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who, for the time being, status on the team remains immaculate. Maybe. Rumors of Nyck's replacement have been swirling for some time, so it was no surprise when, following the British Grand Prix, Red Bull Racing reserve driver and Netflix favorite Daniel Riacciardo impressed during a Pirelli tire test in the much faster Red Bull RB19, prompting Red Bull and Alpha Tauri senior advisor and all-around dickhead Dr. Helmut Marko to terminate Nyck DeVries' contract effective immediately, opting instead to give his seat to the honey badger himself. Some say this is a bad look for Daniel Riacciardo, seeing as how Alpha Tauri is in dead last, and he's already raced for that team. Let's go back in time. During his karting days, a young Daniel Riacciardo was signed to be part of the Red Bull Junior team, a driver development program designed for the future faces of open-wheel racing. The program boasts the likes of such F1 stars as Daniel Riacciardo himself, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, Sebastian Vettel, and this fucking guy. Riacciardo drove for the program in Formula 3 and Formula Renault before finally getting the call up to F1 on loan to HRT from Red Bull, before going to Red Bull's sister team, Toro Rosso, where he drove for 2 years, before going to Red Bull, where he drove for 5 years, winning 7 races. Then controversially left the team, opting to sign with Renault for the 2019 season, a move many people, myself included, thought was cowardly because it was obvious he was scared to go wheel-to-wheel with then-teammate Phenom/Prodigy, this fucking guy. Daniel raced for Renault for 2 years, left them to sign with McLaren, where despite one kind of lucky win, he didn't do great, prompting McLaren to buy out his contract in favor of fellow Aussie Oscar Piastri. Hello? Leaving Riacciardo with no other option but to come back to Red Bull for the 2023 season as a glorified reserve driver before taking DeVries' seat earlier this week at sister team Alpha Tauri, which we now know is old news. I'll say this sucks for Nyck DeVries. An older rookie who in his previous role as a test and reserve driver shined, filling in on an emergency basis for Williams and Aston Martin, as well as being the 2019 Formula 2 champ and the 2021 Formula E champ. His one shot at F1 feels unjustly cut short, driving the worst car on the grid under the scrutiny of the most cutthroat overseer in all of sports. But the big question is why? Why would Red Bull take a rookie out of the seat of a team that's used as a development for Red Bull Racing only to replace him with a driver who's been replaced himself? Hey, you darn. Makes no sense that they just want the last place team to do better. No, everything with Red Bull Racing, Alpha Tauri, and their drivers has ulterior motives. Why not give that seat to a young driver like it's intended? The likes of Red Bull Junior drivers Ayumu Iwasa and Liam Lawson are excelling in their respective feeder series. And why would Riacciardo want to go back to his rookie team? Many people think it's for the notion that should he do well in the Alpha Tauri, he won't, that he might get a call up to the big team again for a chance at replacing Sergio Perez in 2024 and getting to drive the RB20, which will more than likely be a rocket ship. Perez, despite 2 race wins early on and a hint at a championship bid, has only been on the podium 1 time since April and has failed to make Q3 in qualifying 6 times this year. I, for one, don't think Daniel Riacciardo is the better option of the two and have a sneaky suspicion that, conspiracy time, this whole ordeal might have more to do with Nyck DeVries' now ex-teammate Yuki Tsunoda than the team is letting on. Yuki Tsunoda has been with the team since making his debut in 2021, showing some good speed and racecraft at times, but other times showing the exact opposite. He's a Red Bull Junior driver who the team has put a lot of investment in and therefore would prefer to see him succeed long-term in the Red Bull car. But because the Alpha Tauri has been such a shitbox all year long, it's tough to gauge where Yuki's skills stand in terms of a future option for a Red Bull seat. He did have some good finishes early on in the season, which looked like he was outdriving the car's capability. Or was the car just in better form? As the car's race pace has come down, so has Yuki. So I think maybe putting the more seasoned Daniel Riacciardo next to Yuki instead of Nyck DeVries, who had no real long-term trajectory with the team anyways, might just be a litmus test to whether or not Red Bull Racing wants to continue on with the Yuki Tsunoda experience. Let me know in the comments. We don't care either way. This has been your Into the Chicane Quick Pit. Peace.